So I've just arrived into a very wet Hanoi after a 2-hour flight from all the way in the south of Vietnam, Saigon. From here, I got myself a grab ride to my hotel before heading out to buy a few basic necessities and had a little walk around to get my bearings of the old quarter where I'll be staying for the next 3 nights. So I'm not going to film a whole lot on this first day, as I plan to also get some personal work done back at the hotel, which includes getting in contact with the hotel back in Saigon after losing my AirPods. But other than this, I'm looking forward to an early start tomorrow morning to really go out and explore the old quarter of Hanoi.
Okay, so it's my first full and proper day here in Hanoi. I was planning on getting out at about 7 a.m. To go for a bit of a walk. It's currently probably about, 7:30, but it's pouring down with rain. It's been pouring since I pretty much woke up at around about 5:30. It looks like there is going to be a break in the rain around about 12 o'clock today, so probably just going to hold out till then. Don't really want to take the camera out in the wet. Don't really have the right rain attire, especially for this kind of rain. It's a lot heavier than we get back in Australia for sure. But anyways, we'll head out at 12. In the meantime, I'll probably just try and get some video editing done and keep myself occupied before I can go explore Hanoi.
After the rain stopped, I was finally able to head out and explore Hanoi. The first location I'm keen to head to is Hoan Kiem Lake. However, 50 meters from my hotel, I came across St. Joseph's Cathedral, which, although I'm not religious, I can certainly admire the architecture of this neo-Gothic style cathedral built in 1886.
So I wouldn't have walked any more than maybe 5 minutes, and I've already come to this stunning, beautiful park. And that's one thing I've noticed since being here in Hanoi. So many trees, so green, it's beautiful. I love it so far. Well, not just so far, I think I'm gonna love it. But looks absolutely incredible, and I'm looking forward to exploring more.
Hoan Kiem Lake, meaning Lake of the Returned Sword, is situated right in the historical centre of Hanoi. In the middle, there are 2 separate islands, one which stands Turtle Tower, and the other is Temple of the Jade Mountain. The island site where Turtle Tower lies was originally used for fishing in the 1400s, before a tower was erected to improve the comfort of the king's fishing. In the 17th and 18th century, a temple was built here, however this eventually disappeared, before the French, while occupying Vietnam, built the current tower we see in 1886. The Temple of the Jade Mountain was built in the 18th century to honour the 13th century military leader Tran Hung Dao, who was known for defeating the Mongol invasions of Vietnam.
So it really is quite incredible. Probably going to butcher it, but it's called Hoan Kiem Lake. It's certainly a lot bigger than I was expecting. I knew I actually positioned myself in the hotel close to this place, but I didn't think it was going to be this big. But really is quite spectacular. Just going to sit around here for a bit and take it in.
After doing a full lap around the lake, I wanted to go check out the famous Train Street, which is about 15 minutes away by foot. Now I know this is a very touristy / Instagram sort of place, but I wanted to go see it for myself and sit down at one of the cafes situated along the track. Train Street is a narrow street in the old quarter which has houses and cafes on either side, with the train lines running through the middle. I wanted to go here today and sit down at one of the cafes and just relax for a bit. Although I am aware there won't be any trains passing during my time here, as it's the morning, which is probably why there isn't a whole lot of people at the moment. Now I've entered from the closest point to myself, which is somewhat guarded, but mainly by the locals. I've heard and seen videos where people can enter non-guarded parts, and it's very quiet with no one around, so that's great if you want a photo, but I'm happy entering from the closest point to myself today and had the locals take me to a cafe. And I should add, I was asked if I wanted to go there first. It said the locals that live along here also have a duty of care, so they can't really have people wandering along the tracks alone, but I'll speak more to that shortly. So from information online, Monday to Fridays trains come in the evening. So as I'm here early today, there's no chance of seeing one, but if you're keen to come here and relax while watching a train, check out the timetables which are available online.
But yeah, as soon as you arrive at the train street, you're pretty much ushered along up into like a cafe or a restaurant. I don't think they really want too many tourists hanging around the area. It's a bit of a safety risk, and I completely understand that. But to be honest, it wasn't so bad. I think some tourists are more skeptical, that they think that they're going to get ripped off. But I'm going to be honest, I paid about $4 Australian for a banana smoothie. Sure, I bet that's expensive for here, but at the end of the day, $4 for a banana smoothie on like a touristy hotspot in Hanoi allowed me to get a bunch of videos, photos, etc. Mate, I'm happy to spend $4. Even if it was more, I wouldn't have cared. At the end of the day, they're out to make a living as well. And not everyone is out to get you. So give it a chance and just suss it out. But for me, completely fine. I saw a few tourists rock up, and they just took it the wrong way. They thought they were trying to get ripped off or something. And really it was more of a safety concern, and they were just trying to say, get off the tracks, you know, these sorts of things. And they're like, I don't want to come in your shop, you know, I don't want to go to your shop. And I heard them mumbling to themselves like, yeah, anyways, but just give it a chance. I mean, it allows you to sit down, take it in. It's not expensive. And yeah, that's just my experience personally. I think you can really enjoy yourself there. I'm sure there's other entry points where you can probably go have a look, but you got to understand it is a safety risk as well. Trains do go down that street, so yeah, it is what it is. So after checking out Train Street, I ordered myself a a Grab. The motorbike rides cost me about 16,000 Vietnamese dong, which is about roughly $1 Australian, just to get me back to my hotel here. Saved me the 20-minute walk. And yeah, but I really like Hanoi. First impressions, super green. And something about, I mean, like I said, I've only been to Saigon for 2 nights. I will get a chance to go back there shortly, but I really like Hanoi. I think the city's actually livable as well. I could live here quite easily. But yeah, these are just my first impressions, and looking forward to getting out later and exploring the city a little later on today, just after I get a bit more work done. And then of course tomorrow we'll go out and we'll see some more sights as well. But so far so good. I like Hanoi a lot. Okay, my first taste of pho coming right up. Now you may be wondering, you know, why the hell are you not out on the street going to a restaurant or a local place to try this for the first time? But here's the thing. It's not that easy for myself. I have something called celiac disease, which is an autoimmune issue. It means the lining on my stomach essentially rejects everything that's wheat, gluten, and rye. So you may have heard of people needing gluten-free food, etc. I'm one of those people. I've had it for half my life. I'm 32 next month, so yeah. So I thought it's safer. I actually get some delivered and I can have a quick look to make sure it's definitely rice noodles, because I don't have a problem with rice noodles. That's fine. I have them back home all the time. But I've heard sometimes up in the north here in Hanoi, sometimes they don't use rice noodles. Whether that's egg or wheat based, I'm not too sure. But I needed to be sure, but I know as soon as I look at this, whether it's going to be rice noodles or not. So I thought, yeah, rather than offending a local restaurant or shop owner by walking away and then them being confused due to the language barrier between us, I figured this is the best opportunity to try it here in my hotel room. A little bit, probably not the right ambience. Maybe I should play some Vietnamese music in the background or something. But hey, let's give it a go. But I've got myself some eggs with fried rice, just in case I couldn't have the pho because it might not have been the rice noodles. You know, so just some chunks of beef, probably some lemongrass, I'd say. All right, I'm gonna get stuck in. You just have to imagine there's all the bikes and people around me, and I'm outside on the street, but this is the best option just to try it for the first time. Delicious. Delicious.
Safe to say, I really enjoyed the meal, but to save you from all the slurping sounds, we'll move on a few hours where I've decided to head out and see Hanoi in the evening. I didn't have any plans where to go, but just looked up a couple of rooftop bars and headed to the closest one. As per my usual antics, I stayed out much later than I'd like to, so we'll see how we'll fare tomorrow and what we can go out and see.
Good morning. So it's my second full day here in Hanoi now. And I've sort of been trying to work out this morning where do I want to go, what do I want to do. Usually when I travel somewhere, I don't like to plan too much. I like to go with the flow, wake up, see where I feel like going, what I feel like doing. So I looked up the Temple of Literature, Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum, and Hoa Lo Prison. But I think the Hoa Lo Prison has a lot of history, and it's probably a little lot more up my alley. So I'm gonna go check that one out today.
Hoa Lo Prison was built in the late 1800s by French colonists to house political prisoners, and later used by North Vietnam to house American prisoners during the Vietnam War. It was these prisoners who referred to Hoa Lo as a Hanoi Hilton. Much of the prison was demolished in the 1990s, however what remains has been turned into a museum, where tourists get a glimpse into the life as a prisoner at Hoa Lo. Entry into the museum is 30,000 Vietnamese dong, and you can also pick up an audio guide which I highly recommend for 100,000. The audio guide takes you from room to room throughout the prison, detailing stories and events which took place behind these walls. You can just imagine in some of these detention camps, they were cramped with 40 to 50 people, with poor circulation and spread of disease was rife. Hoa Lo Prison was actually a highlight for myself, as someone who loves to learn about history, but I won't lie, there are some points in which it can be quite emotional.
Well, okay, it's my last night here in Hanoi, and heading off back down to Saigon tomorrow and flying with Vietnam Airlines. I feel like, you know, some people when they come here, they may want to see a lot more than I've done. Sure, there's a few other sites which would have been nice to see, such as the Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum. However, in saying that, I feel like I just would have been stretching it a bit. I like to chill out sometimes, I like to relax, I like to walk around, which I've done a lot of. I've been able to walk the streets a lot here in the Old Quarter. And sometimes, you know, I don't want to always take the camera out and just absolutely film everything. So I feel like I've taken in a lot from the Old Quarter, and I've got to meet some local Vietnamese people, especially last night when I went out, and that was fantastic. And
So I hope you have enjoyed this video of my time here in Hanoi, and if you're not already subscribed and enjoy this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you have liked the video, please hit that like button, as it really does help the videos along. Other than that, guys, we'll be flying back down to Saigon with Vietnam Airlines in the next video as we continue the adventure through Southeast Asia. But until then, I'll catch you later, and all the best.